Today I'll show you how to create high-end home decor dupes inspired by antique farmhouse for just $2 each. Welcome to the Chic Show. Today's playlist is Recreation Inspiration hosted by 6 Kids and a Glue Gun, Lady Red Crafting, and Lowly D's Creations. You can find a link for all their channels in the description box below, along with the link for the playlist. These coasters are the inspiration for this first project. I found these wood coasters at Big Lots, and they were $3.99 for a set of 4, I believe. And you can see the one on the right we've actually used. They are not sealed at all, apparently, so the water stains the wood for sure. So I'm going to redo these and make them like the antique farmhouse, and I'm going to seal them so that we can actually use them without damaging them. The one on the right stayed a dark color on that right side of the piece, so I just taped that off and used that as a guide for the one on the left. And of course these are round, not square like antique farmhouse, but these are the perfect blank for this project. Once I have them taped off on the top and down the sides, I used some Waverly chalk paint in the color ink, and I painted the top and sides. Once I removed the tape, these are already beautiful. Now I'm using some dishwasher safe Mod Podge to seal the top and the sides. This Mod Podge says to let it dry 2 hours between coats and to use 3 coats total. And here's a look at the finished product. Not bad for $2 as opposed to $24. The next project is inspired by these 2 cutting boards from Antique Farmhouse. I'm going to use the coloring of the first one, but I am going to use a rectangular shape like the second one. This is one of Dollar Tree's small wood cutting boards, and I'm going to be using these 3 colors on the cutting board. I measured and I taped off in 2-inch sections. I'm going to stain the middle section first using Antique Wax by Waverly. Once I got to the shade I wanted, I used a dry paper towel and just wiped back the excess. I then removed the tape. I then retaped the area and covered up the stained part so that I could paint the other 2 sections. I painted the left side with white chalk paint, and now I'm painting the right side with black chalk paint. The inspiration piece was actually marble and wood, so I'm going to be using a marbling technique that I'm just kind of making up on my own, using some gray elephant chalk paint mixed with a little bit of black and some silver lining chalk paint. Those are by Waverly, and I'm just using that fan brush to swipe it along through there until I get the look that I think I want. Then I come back with a sponge and I just start dabbing on some white chalk paint in areas that I think I've gotten too dark. I can't wait for you to see how beautiful this turns out. I did want this cutting board to be sealed, of course, and I decided to use triple thick, which is going to make it a little bit shiny for that marbling technique. Now, one thing I didn't do that I am going to go back and do is drill a hole in the center of one end or the top and add a leather hanger. I can't wait to hear what you think about this project. If you think it's as beautiful as I do, hit that thumbs up button. This piece is actually a brass-footed vanity tray, while the one I'm using is wood, but it gives off the same vibe, and I think it's just as beautiful. $1 at a garage sale can't be beat. I added a few bars of soap and some bath accessories, and I think this is beautiful. The next inspiration piece is this wood bead clip card holder set. I'm only going to be making one of these, but I took 5 large beads and I put them on this skewer stick so that I could stain them with some antique wax. The inspiration piece is not stained very dark at all, but I did want them a little bit darker than this really natural wood. I watered down my antique wax and then used a sponge to apply the wax. Now I'm using this piece that I cut off of a picture holder that I found at a thrift store and an old wood top to a candle. I'm going to try and get that label off of the candle, which is very difficult to do. I ended up kind of having to soak it off so that I could paint it. I drilled a hole in the center of the wood top. I gave it 2 coats of Waverly chalk paint in truffle, and then I threaded on my beads onto the picture holder. I used some Tight Bond Quick and Thick to hold the picture holder in place. Next inspiration piece is this beaded cross plaque. This is one of the new frames from Dollar Tree. They are plastic, but they don't look plastic. And then I'm using this little wood cutout cross that I had in my craft stash. Now I'm using this watercolor paper, and I'm going to cut around the backing so that I can cover the backing with this particular paper. I cut out the watercolor paper and then I just used a glue stick to adhere it to the backing. Now I wanted these little wood beads to be a little less gray and a little bit more tan colored, I guess, more like natural wood. So I used some mineral by Waverly and just dry brushed over the top. And next I painted the cross with that same mineral chalk paint. I painted the front side and the sides, but not the back. Once that paint has dried, I'm going to dry brush both vertically and horizontally with white chalk paint. I'm going to be using hot glue to glue this cross to the center of our backing. Now this frame doesn't have a glass piece, it's just a clear plastic piece in the front, so I removed that and I replaced it with our backing and our cross, and I love the way this turned out. While none of these inspiration pieces from Antique Farmhouse were very expensive to begin with, I still managed to recreate every one of them for under $2 each. I would love to know which one is your favorite. Please let me know 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 in the comments below. Thanks again, Amanda, Loli, and Katie for hosting. I've left you another video right here that I think you'll like. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to share the chic. Bye now.